So it is a problem statement 14. At the top, the code includes relib and the standard C headers, then defines the constants such as screen width, screen height, paddle size, balls radius, number of the bricks down columns, and the space between bricks. A game start structure stores all dynamic data, the paddle rectangle, all positions, and the velocity. The brick rectangles and the which bricks are still active, the score remaining lives, and the flags for game over, whether the game is currently running. Initialization logic: the initialization game start into game function set up the starting state. It positions the paddle near the bottom center, places the ball at the screen center with an initial velocity vector, and fills the brick array with rectangles laid out in rows and columns, using the defined spacing, marking each brick as active. The functions also resets score to 0, lives to some starting value, and clears the game over game on flags. So input update game start into game. The program first checks the game is over or not running and the returns early if so. It reads a keyboard input to move the paddle left or right with the arrow keys while clamping the paddle so it cannot go outside the screen with. The ball position is updated every frame by adding its velocity component to the x and y coordinates. It inverts the ball x velocity when the ball hits left or right walls and invert y velocity when it hits the top so the ball bounces. If the ball goes below the bottom edge, it counts as a lost life. Lives are decremented, game state is updated, either game over or ball reset to center with the starting velocity. For paddle collisions, it checks intersections between the ball treated as a circle and the paddle rectangle on hit. The ball y velocity is reversed and possibly adjusted based on the where it sticks the paddle to change the bounce angles. Brick handling and rendering: brick collisions are handled with the nested loops over rows and columns, checking only active bricks. When the ball hits a brick, the brick is marked inactive. The ball direction is flipped and the score is increased. After each frame updates, a flag determines its of all the bricks destroyed with to trigger a win conditions. So draw game state star game begins a drawing pass clears the background, draws the paddle block and all the active breaks and the short text such as controls, scrolls, lives, and messages for the game over or restart prompts. So draw game main function initialize the programs with the init window calls initialize games and runs the main loop. While the window is open, it checks the restart input calls and draw game finally closes the window when done. If you so that's all for the program. So output is